Aryna Sabalenka's 2026 resolution, the Hunter, prepares Australian Open revenge on the Brisbane River. Defending champion Aryna Sabalenka at the WTA Brisbane kicked off her 2026 campaign with a relaxed river cruise and a clear warning to her rivals. Despite her US Open title, she remains a hunter, obsessed with righting the wrongs of last year's Australian Open final. Defending champion Aryna Sabalenka at the WTA Brisbane kicked off her 2026 campaign with a relaxed river cruise and a clear warning to her rivals. Despite her US Open title, she remains a hunter, obsessed with righting the wrongs of last year's Australian Open final. Aryna Sabalenka looks as comfortable on a boat as she does on a baseline. Gliding down the Brisbane River on New Year's Day, the 27-year-old tennis star joked about tiger sharks and took selfies against the city skyline, but the relaxed atmosphere belied a fierce internal fire. For the world number one, the 2026 season is not about defending territory, it is about reclaiming what slipped through her fingers 12 months ago at Melbourne Park. "I'm still a hunter," Sabalenka told reporters as the boat passed under the Story Bridge. "I have my goals to be hunting for. Number one is a great position to be in, and I'd love to be the hunted, but in my mind, the hunt isn't over." The 2025 shadow, righting the wrong. While Sabalenka ended her 2025 season on a high by capturing the US Open title, the memory of the Australian summer continues to provide her primary motivation. Last year, she captured the Brisbane title only to fall in a heart-wrenching, razor-thin Australian Open final in Melbourne against Madison Keys. "That match cost me a Grand Slam title," she admitted, referencing the couple of errors at the end of the 2025 Melbourne final. "It stays in the back of my mind. It's going to keep me motivated and keep me hungry. I really hope that if I reach the last stage of the Australian Open this year, I'll be a better player than I was last year." Despite that heartbreak, Sabalenka views the experience as a vital stepping stone. "You're not losing, you're learning," she noted, a mantra that carried her through the summer after another loss in final at Roland Garros, to her eventual triumph in New York. Brisbane, the home away from home. Sabalenka's affinity for Brisbane is well documented. She frequently describes the city as a place where she feels at home, a psychological comfort she believes is essential for her best tennis. This week, she faces one of the most competitive fields in the tournament's history, with 7 of the world's top 10 players in the draw: Amanda Anisimova, number 4, Elena Rybakina, number 5, Jessica Pegula, number 6, Madison Keys, number 7, Mira Andreeva, number 9, and Ekaterina Alexandrova, number 10. "It's a great tournament, a really strong draw, and I love it," Sabalenka said. "I need these great matches before the Australian Open. I'm not focusing on statistics or joining select groups. I'm focusing on bringing my best tennis and fighting for each match." The revenge mission, Sabalenka vs. Kyrgios. Beyond the official WTA schedule, Sabalenka's offseason was highlighted by a high-profile exhibition match in Dubai against Nick Kyrgios. While the atmosphere was light, Sabalenka's competitive streak was clearly peaked by the loss, 6-3, 6-3. "I would definitely do it again. I need revenge," she laughed, already plotting the tactical adjustments for a rematch. "Next time, we'll have a different format. I'll keep the full court for Nick, but I want 2 serves. That would even our level a bit more." She spoke warmly of Kyrgios's return to the tour in Brisbane, noting his unpredictable talent. "I was happy to challenge him and make him work, to see a man getting tight and going for his full game," she said, 19. "It was a really cool experience. At dawn, the Brisbane River wears a skin of bronze. The city is quiet enough to hear breath and/or the soft percussion of effort meeting water. Aryna Sabalenka runs along the river's edge, not to be seen, not to be counted, only to be ready." This is where her 2026 resolution begins, not in a speech or a slogan, but in the long, private dialogue between muscle and will. They call her the hunter, and she accepts the name not as theater but as practice. A hunter studies patterns. A hunter learns patience. A hunter returns to the place of loss not to mourn it, but to understand it. The Australian Open still flickers in her peripheral vision. The heat, the noise, the moments where time compressed into a single point and tipped the wrong way. Tennis has a way of engraving memories, break points that rattle like loose change, rallies that stretch until the body begs for mercy, the thin line between power and panic. Sabalenka doesn't erase those memories. She retools them. She sharpens them into something useful. In Brisbane, the air is humid and forgiving. It teaches the body how to breathe under pressure. The river bends and curves, reminding her that force alone never wins a chase. Strategy matters. Timing matters. The hunter doesn't sprint blindly, she stalks. Her team watches from a respectful distance. They know the ritual by now. The early sessions are not about the scoreboard or the serve speed. They are about alignment, feet to earth, mind to breath, purpose to motion. The resolution for 2026 is simple and ruthless. A Rive prepared enough that revenge doesn't need a narrative. Let the tennis speak. On court, the sound of her hitting cuts through the morning like a blade. Sabalenka's game has always carried thunder, but now there is a new economy to it. Power with a plan. Risk with a reason. She works on the first ball after the serve, the point where ambition often outruns patience. She practices choosing height over haste, angle over volume. The hunter learns when to close in and when to wait. Brisbane becomes a classroom. The river becomes a mirror. Some days it reflects confidence, other days it returns doubt. She takes both. The hunter respects the terrain. At night, the city lights scatter across the water, and the river looks like a constellation fallen out of the sky. Sabalenka stretches, journals, replays points in her mind not to punish herself but to map solutions. Tennis is a game of margins, and revenge, if it exists at all, lives in the margins. One better decision. One calmer breath. One rally that bends instead of breaks. The 2026 resolution is not about reclaiming a crown or rewriting a headline. It is about authorship. About choosing the story before the story chooses you. Sabalenka knows how quickly momentum can tilt. She has felt crowds swell and turn, expectations roar, and silence arrive without warning. The hunter prepares for all of it. There is a session where the heat climbs and the legs grow heavy. Her coach calls for another set of drills, another sequence designed to simulate that moment late in a match when the body whispers excuses. Sabalenka nods. She has learned that the hunter's edge is not ferocity alone, it is consent to discomfort. She hits through fatigue with intention, practicing the kind of courage that looks boring from the stands but wins matches when the noise peaks.